Hello friends, family, and fellow scholars, welcome to my channel. It's me. And today we are going to talk about how to use I statements. We will look at what they are, why you should use them, when you should use them, and how you can practice them. And if this sounds interesting, then I invite you to watch this video together with me. You see that little plus sign down there? Yes, you can do that. You can also pause the video or rewind it to have another look if you need it. So, what is an I statement? Why should you use it? And when should you use it? Well, the I statement stands for I am responsible for myself and my own feelings. And this is the whole point of using I statements. In these statements, you express your feelings instead of blaming someone else. This way, you encourage the other person to listen to you, and you make them more likely to see your point of view. And yes, I know that it's not always easy to express your feelings. Sometimes you just want to blame somebody. But I statements help you take responsibility for yourself and your emotions, and this empowers you in difficult situations. They are a powerful tool in many areas of life. You can use them in relationships, at work, at school, or even during an argument with strangers. And the best part is that anyone can learn to use them. All it takes is a bit of practice and the willingness to try something new. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples of what statements look like and how they sound. First, you start with I feel. Then you name the emotion you are feeling. For example, I feel angry or I feel sad. Next, you explain what caused that emotion. However, avoid blaming the other person. Instead of saying, "You did this, therefore I feel like this," say, "When this happened, I felt like this." Finally, you say what you would like the other person to do in the future. What would be helpful for you? For example, I feel angry when the dishes pile up in the sink because I feel like it's my job to keep our home clean. I would appreciate it if you helped me with the dishes once in a while. This way of communicating shows that you are taking responsibility for your feelings and that you are willing to work together with the other person to find a solution. This encourages them to listen to you and be more understanding. By using I statements, you can express your true feelings without hurting the other person's feelings. And this leads to better conversations and stronger relationships. There are many different emotions that we can feel. So here is a list of common emotions you can choose from. Use them wisely because they all sound different. I feel happy when. I feel upset when. I feel disappointed when. I feel frustrated when. I feel stressed when. I feel hurt when. I feel confused when. I feel anxious when. I feel ashamed when. I feel disappointed when. Okay, so now you know what I statements are. Let's see why you should use them. The first reason is that I statements help you to take control of your emotions. When you use you statements, you are placing the blame on the other person for how you feel. But when you use I statements, you are taking responsibility for your own feelings. This helps you to feel more in control of your emotions rather than being a victim of them. And this is important because when you are in control of your emotions, you are more likely to make rational decisions and solve problems effectively. The second reason is that I statements help you to build stronger relationships. When you use I statements, you are more likely to be seen as a mature and responsible person. And this is important because people are more likely to want to build relationships with people who are seen as mature and responsible. Additionally, when you use I statements, you are less likely to cause offense to others. And this is important because people are more likely to trust and open up to those who they feel are trustworthy and who they don't feel are offended easily. Finally, I statements help you to communicate more clearly. When you use I statements, you are more likely to get your point across in a clear and concise manner. And this is important because clear communication is essential for building strong relationships and solving problems effectively. All right, now that we know what I statements are and why they are useful, let's talk about when you should use them. Well, basically, any time you are trying to communicate your feelings or opinions to someone else is a good time to use I statements. For example, if you are feeling upset or angry about something that someone else did, it can be tempting to use you statements to place the blame on them. But by using I statements instead, you can avoid causing offense and encourage the other person to listen to your point of view. Similarly, if you are trying to set a boundary or ask for something from someone else, I statements can be helpful in communicating your needs and wants in a clear and assertive manner. For example, if you are feeling overwhelmed by the amount of work you have to do, you could use an statements to communicate this to your boss or colleagues and to ask for help. Overall, anytime you are in a situation where you need to communicate your feelings or opinions to someone else, I statements are a useful tool to have in your back pocket. Now let's discuss some situations where I statements would be especially helpful to use. One example is when you are experiencing a conflict with someone else. Conflicts are bound to happen no matter how close you are to someone. So, having the skills to communicate effectively during these times is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships. ET statements can help you to express your true feelings without hurting the other person's feelings. This can lead to more productive conversations and more successful outcomes in the conflict. Another situation where I statements are useful is when you are asking for help or support from someone else. It's important to communicate your needs and wants clearly and assertively, but also in a way that doesn't come across as demanding or entitled. A statements can help you to do this by allowing you to express your feelings without placing blame or making accusations. Alright, so now you know when to use I statements. Let's talk about how you can use them properly. The key to using statements effectively is to be mindful of the language you are using. Start by using phrases such as I feel, I think, or I believe. These phrases allow you to express your feelings and opinions without placing blame or making accusations. Be clear and specific about what you are feeling and why. Avoid using vague or general statements and instead focus on the specific details of the situation. For example, instead of saying, I feel bad, say, I feel upset that. Then express what you need or want in order to feel better. This may involve asking for help or support, setting a boundary, or simply expressing your feelings. Be prepared to compromise. While it's important to stand up for yourself and communicate your needs and wants, it's also important to be willing to compromise. And finally, practice active listening skills. Using I statements is only one part of effective communication. It's also important to actively listen to the other person and try to understand their perspective. This can help to create a more balanced and productive conversation. Now let's look at a few more examples of how to use ETT statements in different situations. First, imagine you are running late for dinner and your friend is already waiting at the restaurant. A good way to start the conversation is, I'm sorry I'm late. I got caught up in work, but I'm here now, and I'm glad we got a chance to catch up. Here you show that you are taking responsibility for your actions by acknowledging that you were late. But you also express happiness that you got a chance to spend time with your friend. This way you convey your feelings and needs without placing blame or making accusations. In another scenario, imagine you are working on a team project and your teammate hasn't completed their part of the project yet. You could use an I statement like this. I'm feeling stressed because I'm worried we won't finish the project in time. Can you give me an update on when you'll have your part done? Here you are expressing your feelings of stress and explaining why you feel that way. You are also asking for specific information from your teammate. This approach helps to keep the conversation focused and productive rather than accusatory or confrontational. Finally, imagine you are at a party and someone keeps talking loudly on their phone and disturbing you. An effective way to address this would be to say something like, I feel irritated by the loud voices. Would it be possible for them to talk quietly, or maybe step outside to continue the conversation? Here you are expressing your feelings of irritation and also making a reasonable request for the person to lower their voice. You are also offering an alternative solution for them to talk outside if necessary. These are just a few examples of how to use I statements in different situations. With a little practice, you'll be able to use I statements effectively in your own conversations. To sum things up, taking responsibility for ourselves and our emotions is an important part of personal growth and maturity, and I statements can be a useful tool in doing so. By using I statements, you can express your feelings and opinions in a clear and respectful manner, which can lead to better conversations and stronger relationships. So I challenge you to try using I statements in your next conversation. You might be surprised at how much of a difference it makes. If you want to learn more about communication skills, click here. If you want to learn more about relationships, click here. And if you want to learn more about emotional intelligence, click here. Now it's time to send this video out into the world. Woo! And I hope it will find many fellow scholars out there who will benefit from it. Thanks for watching and for your generous support. And I'll see you next time.